Tensions are rising at Anfield, and this one isn't going away quietly. Let's break this down in today's video. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Liverpool have finally responded to the growing wave of fan protests over ticket price increases, but instead of backing down, they've doubled down, and now supporters are warning that action will follow. The club recently confirmed a controversial decision to increase ticket prices over the next 3 seasons, with matchday costs expected to rise by between £3 and £4.50. While the club points to rising operational expenses, the reality is stark. This move is projected to generate an extra £1.2 million as early as next year. And crucially, it locks in those increases without further consultation with fans. Unsurprisingly, the backlash has been immediate and visible. From missing flags on the Kop during the Fulham game to boycotts of food and drink inside Anfield, supporters are already making their voices heard. But this is only the beginning. In an official letter to the supporters board, Chief Legal and External Affairs Officer Jonathan Bamber made the club's position crystal clear. We have not been able to reach a shared outcome. The club has now confirmed the planned ticket pricing approach for the next 3 seasons. In other words, no compromise, no reversal. However, there is a twist. Liverpool have left the door slightly open for future change, referencing the fan-led 12th man sponsorship proposal, a creative solution where an external sponsor would effectively cover the £1.2 million increase, removing the need to raise ticket prices at all. Bamber added, "The door remains open to continued dialogue. If any of these ideas were to progress to a successful outcome, we would obviously review our position." But for supporters, that's not enough, and the response has been blunt. The supporters board, a body legally embedded within the club's structure, fired back. Supporters have been clear. The club has chosen to ignore that. Next steps will now be discussed, with action to follow. And those next steps could hit hard. According to Spear of Shankly representative Gareth Roberts, a number of protest strategies are already being considered, from coordinated walkouts and late arrivals to fans refusing to take part in You'll Never Walk Alone, a move that would strike at the very identity of Liverpool's matchday atmosphere. Ideally, what we'd like is just come back and talk to us again, because 3 years in particular is unacceptable. This is no longer just about ticket prices, it's about identity, fan ownership, and the relationship between club and supporters. And right now, that relationship is under serious strain. With protests set to escalate and the club holding firm, this story is far from over. The question now is simple: who blinks first? In other news, Jeremy Frimpong's season was supposed to be the next step in his rise, a campaign built on pace, explosiveness, and relentless attacking intent down the right flank. Instead, it has become something far more frustrating, a year defined by confusion, setbacks, and a battle against a problem he had never truly faced before. For a player whose entire game is built on speed, sharp acceleration, and constant movement, muscle injuries are often seen as an occupational hazard, but for Frimpong that simply wasn't the case. Prior to his move to Liverpool, his injury record was remarkably clean. In fact, the only significant layoff he had suffered came back in 2022, when an ankle issue ruled him out for around 2 months, and even that, by his own admission, was unavoidable. That's why this season has left him genuinely bewildered. Speaking candidly, Frimpong admitted the situation has been difficult to comprehend. Hamstring injuries, 3 of them across the campaign, have disrupted his rhythm, halted any sense of momentum, and ultimately cost him 25 matches for both club and country. For a player who prides himself on availability as much as performance, that number alone tells the story of a season gone wrong. What makes it more striking is the nature of the injuries themselves. These weren't impact injuries or freak incidents. They were recurring muscle problems, the kind that linger, the kind that raise questions, and the kind that can quietly erode a player's confidence if left unchecked. Frimpong himself acknowledged as much, pointing out that this type of issue had never happened to him before. Not once in his career had hamstrings been a concern until now. The timing of those setbacks only compounded the frustration. The first came against Bournemouth in August, just as he was beginning to settle into life at Anfield. Another followed in October against Eintracht Frankfurt, interrupting his progress once again. By the time the third issue surfaced in January against Qarabag, initially thought to be a groin problem, it had become a pattern rather than an isolated problem. And beyond the physical toll, there's the mental side, something Frimpong didn't shy away from addressing. Behind the scenes, away from the noise of match days and expectations, the reality of repeated injuries can be isolating. The rhythm of training, recovery, and competition is broken. The mind begins to wander, doubt creeps in. Frimpong spoke openly about that battle, the need to stay distracted, to avoid overthinking, and to lean on those closest to him. Family and loved ones became a crucial support system, helping him navigate the lowest moments of a season that has tested him in ways he hadn't previously experienced. It's also impossible to separate his individual struggles from the wider context of Liverpool's campaign. Results have not met expectations, and when performances dip collectively, individual setbacks feel even heavier. Frimpong himself hinted at that, suggesting that silverware, even just one major trophy, could have shifted the narrative, easing the weight of a difficult year. Instead, the questions have only grown louder. There's an ongoing debate about whether Liverpool's evolving approach under Arne Slot has played any role in the current injury patterns. The contrast with the previous era under Jurgen Klopp is stark. Klopp's Liverpool was built on intensity, relentless pressing, physically demanding sessions, and a schedule that often pushed players to their limits. It brought success, but it also came with periods of heavy injury lists. Slot's approach, by comparison, has leaned more heavily on data. Training loads are carefully monitored, sessions are adjusted in real time, and players are sometimes pulled out early if they've reached their physical threshold. On paper, it's a method designed to reduce risk, a modern calculated system aimed at protecting players rather than pushing them beyond their limits. And yet, in Frimpong's case, the outcome has been the opposite. That raises an uncomfortable but important question. Is this simply a case of bad luck, or is there something deeper at play? But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.